This training session is to show you how to prepare and add an article or a story to one of our websites. We've covered the preparation and uploading of an image in a previous session. Once we've gone through the mechanics of actually adding the story, there'll be another training session in relation to the optimization of a story for a website. And then there'll be another training session in relation to adding landing pages to capture search engine traffic. Now, Google likes lots of regular content to be added to a website, and we recommend that the way you do that is through the addition of news, articles, blogs on your website. Now, an article can be the announcement of something happening with in the business, a business award or an event or something like that, or it can be an article that is intended to target candidates or clients on the search engines. And the way we sort of prepare for that is to think about the business, think about the type of people that you want to attract to your website, and you then write and build an article about that. The website I'm going to use again will be We Recruit Auto, which again is an automotive recruitment business. They want to use the articles to sort of reach out to promote their website across the search engines and to make announcements about various activities that they're doing. So the first thing that we'll be thinking about is think about the article, prepare it, think about the keywords that you'll use in that article. The article really needs to be about 500 words in size if possible. Anything less than 200 may not be indexed at all. And anything from, ideally the optimum amount of words is about 600 or 700 words, but obviously you probably won't have time to do that. So we recommend that, once or twice, if you can do an article every week about something in relation to your business, then it's going to have a big positive impact on your business. It's going to increase your impressions and therefore your clicks. However, a lot of people simply don't have the time to do that. So I've already prepared an article. We've already gone through the preparation and the creation of an image. So I've already uploaded an image in the other training session. And now what we're going to do is go to the website itself. Obviously, if you've seen the other training sessions, you would have seen this website, which is We Recruit Auto. Again, the news article is accessible from one of their drop-down menus. And at the time of doing this training session, we'd recently spoken to them about adding more content. So the articles that they've written tended to be announcement of certain activities that they've been up to. Now, obviously, when we write an article, as I've said, the article I've prepared is about 400 to 500 words. We've done a little bit of research about the search phrase that we're targeting, and we've called the article, I think it's called How to Get a Career or Starting a Career within the Automotive Sector. You could write about mechanics, car sales, any aspect of your industry sector. So we've done a quick search. We've looked at, that's a search in Google, a career in the automotive section. As you scroll down the page, you'll obviously get your paid advertisements if there are any. There doesn't appear to be any today. So we take a look at who appears in the search results because this is part of the preparation, is looking who else appears within the search results that you're using the keywords to include in your article. When you get to the bottom of Google, it always indicates some related searches. It's always an idea to include some of these within the article as well, because the more sort of elements of Google's tick boxes and algorithms you can adhere to, the better or the higher up your article will appear. So this is the article that we've written. Myself and a young lady called Alethea have written this article. In the other training session, I'll describe the reasons why we create things like header tags and meta tags, but for the purposes of this session, we're just going to jump in there and add a news story. So again, you'll go to your website administration area, you'll log in as you normally do. you'll then go straight to content management, and you'll always see there's another button called News Add Edit. So we click on News Add Edit. Now, every website has a number of categories, and we've used the categories of news and testimonials. And the reason we split them up into different categories is because you can have 10 different categories. You could have a mechanics news category, a car salesperson's category. We use the news system to create the testimonials, because basically it orders the little articles in date order. So we click on the list. This is how we're going to add a story. So you can see some of the previous stories that we've written. That's the title, that's the URL, so you can check it. That's the date it was added, whether it's status, whether it's active or inactive, whether it's featured, whether it's archived, and you've got a number of actions there. Now, obviously, when you create a story, you will always set it as active. It's active by default. If you want it to be deactivated, if it's a seasonal announcement, then there's a little box that you can tick to make it inactive. The featured option basically puts all of your featured stories at the top of your news feed. So if I go back to this page here, that's your news page. All that would happen is if you select it as featured, then any of your featured stories will always be at the front and at the top of all your stories. But you probably don't want to do that unless it's a specific story that you think needs to be at the top. The archive option, obviously, once you've got to the stage where you've got like 100 news stories, then it'll be a very, very long page. So what we do is, when we think that we've got enough stories, we select some of the old ones as archived. It still means that they're still active, still accessible in the website map and everything else. It just converts that story into a drop-down menu. And obviously you can add, you can edit, and you can delete the story if you don't think it's relevant. So we're going to add a new one. So we click on Add New Item. And again, I will go through certain elements in a little bit more detail in another training session, but I'm going to quickly get this story added. So the first thing that we've got is the URL. That's your Uniform Resource Locator, or in other words, the website address. So because I've already prepared this, I've selected the URL to be starting a career in the automotive industry. So we paste into that, and it automatically includes all of the characters that are allowed in URLs. And they basically are alphanumeric, and you've got your hyphens. You can't include certain characters like @ or exclamation marks in a URL. We then go straight on to the title of the story and the title of the page. So this is going to be the title of the story. It's also something that's called the H1 or the header 1 tag. And we'll come into that in another session. But that's basically on a page of information. There are certain headers or certain tags, as we call them, that you can place within the content of a website. And they're basically titles that separate certain passages of text. In terms of search engine optimization, they're just a little indicator to Google that it's an important section coming up. Now, you can select one of these industry sectors if you do think it's relevant. In this case, because We Recruit Auto doesn't have its story split into different sectors, it's irrelevant, so I don't need to select those. So I'm going to select an image that I've previously uploaded. So if we scroll down here, and you'll start to see the pic_news 975 images appear. And these are all the images that we've uploaded previously into the news section of the website. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll see some others. pic_news 234. These will be the default images that we built into the website when it went live. So I'm going to pick the picture that we created previously. We don't need a form. We do have the facility where you can add a little data capture form to your news stories, but again, that's not relevant for this particular website. So we'll paste in the initial summary of the news story. I think there's about 150 characters that is displayed on the news summary, and I'll show you where that sits in a minute or two. And then we're going to just copy the rest of the content of this story. As you can see, there are Yeah, 300 odd words. So it's about 400 words in this article. So we go to the content area of the website. Now, because we've copied from Word, the thing to do is select this little square that says copy from Word, or paste from Word, sorry. Paste into that little box. Because what this does is actually removes all of the formatting. Within a Word document, you can have various code or hidden images and all kinds of things and comments. What this does, it strips out all of the background code and it just puts in the raw text. So that's what it's done. Now, obviously, I'm going to remove the double spaces between these different elements of or passages of text, just so it looks nice and presentable. Okay, so we've done that. Now, at the top here, as we said, that's the main title of the story. So that's your header 1 tag. What I always recommend that you do next is to have another subtitle at the top of the page of news, and we'll call that the heading 2 because it's secondary to the first heading that you've added onto the story. Now, I've also selected different sort of passages of text, which I'm now going to set as heading 3 tags. Now, because the other tags within this news story carry equal weight, I'm going to put them all as header 3 tags. You don't need to have header 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 tag. The most important thing is if you've got header 1 tag, header 2 tag at the top, and then you perhaps don't need to have any other tags. So we've got the article in the content management system. Now, to enhance the content, you can highlight certain elements of text and you can embolden them. Now, if you embolden them, then it's another indicator to Google that that's an important passage of text. But for the purposes of doing this, I'm going to quickly finish off the rest of the news story because you can add it as it is without doing anything else. So it's not featured, it's automatically set to active, and we're not going to archive it. Now, you can ignore the plugins. That's for another day. That's to help you add call to action options at the bottom of a news story, but that's quite an advanced sort of training session for that. So we'll cover that separately. Now, obviously, once we get to the bottom of the page, we've got something that's called the meta tags. Now, I always strongly recommend that you create unique meta tags for each page. And again, I've got some videos that I can share, and I'll talk about this in a little bit more detail in the optimization session. But basically, a meta tag is an indication to Google as to what the page is about. So for the purposes of this particular session, I'm just going to repeat the title. So the meta title of this page is going to be how to start a career in the automotive industry. And then I'm not going to get rid of the question mark. So Daisy can never spell when typing. And then I'm just going to put the name of the company in there. And then I'm going to quickly copy that for the meta description, but I'm going to elaborate on it a little bit more because the article is about how to start a career in the automotive industry. There's this little bit here, the meta description. We've got about 200 characters of space. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to do a quick elaboration so we can get the story live. So I'm just going to put an article by We Recruit Automotive. There you go. So the title is How to Start a Career in the Automotive Industry, We Recruit Auto. So we know who the article belongs to when it appears in search engines. And then the meta description is How to Start a Career in the Automotive Industry, an article by We Recruit Auto, automotive recruitment specialists. In the keywords section, let's put just motor trade recruitment. Now, Google and Bing don't use meta keywords, so it doesn't matter if you don't actually do that. So we're now going to submit the submit button. So the story is live on the website now. As you can see, it's added on the 27th today. Now, if we go back to the home page of the website, we click the news section, then you'll see That's the story that I've added with the image that we added previously. If I click more, then you'll see the image appears. That's the title, that's the image, and then you've got the rest of the news article. And there you've done it. You've added an article with meta tags, you've added an image previously in the other training session. So get yourself in there, keep adding your articles. It's a numbers game. The more articles you add, the more impressions you get from Google, and therefore the more clicks you get. So I'll leave it there. The next training article will be about how to optimize the article and the reason we add meta tags and header tags and things like that. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you now.